Oh no. Okay. Okay, I'm here. And this is a podcast.
Okay, and we're back.
Oh, number 16.
Number 16.
So 16 is an interesting number also.
Yeah.
I just really like that number. It's like really nice.
Did you do anything when you were 16?
I don't know.
Totally unplanned.
I
I think I remember my 16th birthday. Everyone was out, so my sister was like, "Hey, let's go to Subway." So I got a Subway sandwich and played League on my 16th birthday.
that's I've also probably
It was great.
but I don't remember. I don't think anything really special happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did your parents let you drive by 16?
Um. Yeah. Kind. I mean, technically I could have, but I was kind of too lazy to.
No.
So I think I got my license. I got my permit sometime that year. I got my license when I was 17, probably. I don't remember.
My dad was like, "You need to have 1 year in college before you can drive." And we were like, "Why?" And he's like, "You need more life experience." But it's probably because insurance is cheaper
Yeah,
if you're
when you're older.
over 18 versus like 16.
That's true. And like 16-year-olds driving is kind of dangerous.
Yeah,
TBH.
that's also his logic. He's like, "Yeah, you're gonna be stupid." And looking back, I would have agreed with him.
Yeah.
When I was 16, I don't think I'd be able to drive well. But yeah.
When I learned how to drive, all I did, my dad was like, "Okay, get in the car." The first day, he's like, "Okay, get in the car." I'm like, "Why? What do I do with this?" And then he's like, "Okay." He's like, wait. He's like, "Oh wait," and he switched spots. And then I would live in a cul-de-sac,
Hmm.
so it's just like a circle.
Yeah.
And then we got into we were literally in the cul-de-sac. He just pulled out of the driveway. He's like, "Okay, get in the car." I'm like, "Okay," and he's like driving circles. I'm like, "Okay." I just drove in circles around the cul-de-sac, and I'm like, I get motion sick, and then like usually like it's okay, but like I drove in a lot of circles. I got kind of dizzy and got motion sick. I'm like, "Okay, I'm done." And drove for like 15 minutes.
I remember when I started, my dad was like, "I'm not doing it." He's like, "You're waiting." So I did like driving school. So I did the
Uh,
class, which came with 2 driving lessons. And he's like, "I won't let the guy do it first." So the guy like showed me how to do, how to like turn on the car,
yeah,
all the basic stuff. And then like it was a week apart. So my dad was like, "Okay, now I'm gonna teach you."
yeah,
So then I start driving, and there's like I'm in like a regular neighborhood. So he was like, "Okay, don't go too fast." And then we pulled up into like one of the cul-de-sacs like within our neighborhood.
yeah.
And he's like, "Okay," and there's like an island in the middle. He's like, "Okay, you're gonna circle around." And he's like, "You're gonna crash. Do it again." He's like, "You suck. You're not turning enough. Do it again." I'm like, "I'm trying."
There was a time like I learned a little bit of driving, and then we went to San Diego to visit my cousin and my uncles, and then I think my uncle or something used to be like a driving instructor, and then she's like, "All right, I'm gonna teach you how to drive." I'm like, "All right." Yeah, so I'm driving California. I've never driven there before, and the roads are a little bit more crazy there. So like in Arizona here, they're blocks. They're
It's all
literally
grids.
mile by mile,
Yeah, it's all
like
grid.
blocks and grids. They're all
Just
straight lines. There's no
it's
hills.
great. Perpendicular lines, flat.
Yeah, it's wonderful. Like the highway, a little bit confusing, but like still, like it's pretty flat.
Yeah, you got the 202 north and the 202 south.
Whatever.
Yeah.
And then, but then in California, roads are kind of everywhere, and so my uncle told me to, so, and then I wasn't used to like some of the speed limits, and like they change pretty often for some reason. I was like, okay, it's 55 now. Wait, it's 45 now. It's 65. Like, what the heck? It's the same road. Why is some different speed limit? I was a little bit confused, and then like I ended up driving to this hill, in this neighborhood or something, and then somehow went up the hill. It was really steep, and then it's like all right, and at the end is like also like a little cul-de-sac thing. I'm like, crap, how do I turn around? And it's on this really steep hill. Like that was like really scary because like to like kind of I got to like stop like you gotta go like really slow or whatever, and then
Hmm.
like to turn around like I was also like, trying to go really slow. So, but I stopped, and when I was trying to accelerate, like my car started like going backwards because like just a little bit because like it was like really steep. So I was like, That was the scariest like driving thing ever. I'm okay now, like on hills or anything, like I can drive it. But at that time, with like not that much driving experience. But other than that, like most of the time, I was just literally parking. I think most of the time, like I spent like driving, like training. Like, my dad drove me to a park, like just a random park. Like a lot of neighborhoods
Mm-hmm.
have like parks. It's just like a really like small park with like a playground, right? There's a lot of grass, and then like usually there's not that many people there. So my dad's like, okay, park the car. Or he just like lets me park the car and park the car. Like, okay, back out, go back, go to the other side, park the car again. I did that for so long. Like every time, like, okay, time to go learn how to drive. Go back to the park to the park again. But like, it's like to help you like understand like how the
Go
car
to the park to
moves.
park.
Yeah, you understand like how the car moves. You
Yeah.
understand like
You get like the physics.
yeah, and then so like the goal is like to understand like if while you're driving the car is like trying to get that like basically in your head like a bird's eye view of your car,
Mm-hmm.
how it's gonna move
Yeah.
as you like turn the steering wheel or whatever, and it was really effective.
Yeah. That's what I like about driving in Arizona. It's like super easy. Even though there's like some crazy people here, it's like not as bad as other places.
Definitely,
But yeah,
like, people do drive really fast there.
yeah.
Whatever.
It's funny though, because like you'll get people that they'll be really bad about it, so they'll like speed up, swerve around you, and then they'll like drop 10 below the speed limit, and you're like, what's wrong with you?
Yeah, I just saw some. I think yesterday I saw someone get someone brake checked the people someone behind him who ended up brake checking the person behind him because he had to like stomp his brakes. I just saw almost the three people rearing each other. It was ridiculous.
I've seen so many almost accidents recently. It's scary. It's like literally you'll just see people like, okay, I'm driving. This guy's like, I want to get out, and you're like, just wait for the other guy. They're going the same speed. This person isn't changing. They're just like turning, or like they'll try to merge into a lane where the other car's going fast or going not as fast, but they're also not speeding up. So yeah, that's fun. But yeah, another good thing about Arizona is that winters aren't bad.
It's true. Winters aren't bad, but it
Yeah,
so it's November. Is it
yeah.
the second? It's the
It's the
second today.
second. Yeah, starting
Uh,
to get cold.
yeah, it's starting to get a little bit cold. Actually, like I felt like just like 3 days ago, it was like warm,
Yeah,
but like Halloween night, and then
it wasn't
it
like
was like
blistering hot.
yeah, it was really cold Halloween night. I like walked outside, I'm like shoot, I'm like starting to feel,
Yeah,
and then like the mornings now are kind of cold. Um,
yeah.
maybe it's because I'm just hungry, but
Well, we got lucky because that hurricane kind of that weather pattern was south of like Mexico, but like other than that, like it's just starting to get cold.
yeah.
Like I like to sleep with the window open, and then like I wake up and I'm like, oh God, it's cold
Oh,
because it gets cold overnight.
for
So it's
some
like
reason
50 degrees.
my room doesn't get that much AC,
Uh,
or like I don't know. My room is literally it's colder than the rest of the house, um, and I think it's just like how the house is built. And because my friend across the street, he has the exact same layout of the house, and like his room is also, which is basically the room I sleep in. His room is also like really hot or really cold because like there's no AC.
but yeah, as you can see, we're in like we're prepared. We're like good for Arizona cold because we have our jackets on and then we have shorts.
Yeah,
Because
and
Arizona is like it gets cold in the morning and then it's like yep you're back up to 80 in the afternoon. So you just take it off and you're like okay back to normal.
it is really nice in the
Yeah,
winter, like in the afternoons. Like
yeah. It's like you can walk around without like burning up.
it's just really nice weather, like 70, 80 degrees, just perfect.
So yeah. So one of the things I was trying to get started last night was do I think we talked about it last week, but it's like this like an anime book club kind of thing where me and someone else will like watch an anime that we haven't watched before, and but my friend is kind of slow at reading, so because he was watching Naruto, I bugged him for years. I'm like, you should watch it. It's like great, you'll love it. And he's like, I'm not into that weeb stuff. I was was like, just watch it, you'll love it. And he watched the original series and he burned through it in like 3 months or like 3 weeks to a month. He's like, this is great. I'm like, there's another series. He's like, oh hell yeah. And he got up to like 400 and they stopped doing dubs. And he was like, well, I'm almost done. So he kept watching.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, if he watched it subbed, he'll watch the next series subbed. And I looked. There's only 5 episodes of Boruto dubbed.
Oh,
So I'm like, there's only
I
five.
guess that makes sense.
And he's like, I read slow.
This is
So,
unfortunate.
and he was telling me, yeah, like a 20-minute episode session would take him like 30 to 40 minutes. And he didn't want to do that. So
Man, watching things dubbed just
Yeah.
makes me sad. Like I can't. Like the sound, the voices, like the voice actors, honestly aren't that good.
I feel like certain ones,
So certain ones are like
yeah,
okay,
but you get lucky with it. It's like 50. It's like a
maybe it's like I know some people like it, but like maybe I just don't like English. Like I don't like honestly, I don't like English as a language that much. Like I would rather hear other languages.
because I guess it's more like pleasing to the ears.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I just prefer dub because the convenience of like you don't actually have to be reading the entire time.
I don't mind reading.
Yeah, I like both, but like when I play League, I don't want to be reading while I'm playing League. That kind of convenience, where you can like multitask. Because I watched like a Sentai, like a Japanese action series, and I watched it all dubbed or subbed, and I was like, this is fine. It's actually really funny because like sometimes, because like one of the funny things I like about subs is that depending on who you have subbing it, they'll misconstrue things on purpose. Like I just remember there was an episode of it's called Jetman. It's like Japanese
Okay.
Power Rangers, and it was like their leader had some like this monster became like a virus that goes inside the leader and like controls
Yeah.
their like commander, and you know what the episode's supposed to be, but the translator changed the title to "The Commander Gets Penetrated." But
Nice.
you're like, that's probably infected. That's always the funny things about subs is like if the person isn't a professional subber, they're just like, oh, you get like fan subs,
Yeah.
you get some either stuff like that where they're like trying to be funny about it or like they're not they're either one of the two languages isn't like they don't have both languages mastered, so they'll like substitute certain words to translate. It's always funny when you catch those. But
Yeah.
yeah, so I
You,
guess
you get those a lot when you're like reading like light novels and
Yeah,
stuff with like
yeah, like
bad
that.
translators
Yeah.
or like or
or like amateur translators, not even like they're
I
bad.
think it's just like translators and they don't have editors. So
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
reading a light
Yeah,
novel
that's true.
and like this guy, this person translates it, edits it herself, like does everything herself,
Yeah,
and then
you don't have someone checking you to make
Yeah.
sure it makes sense to not you.
so like she does have like a lot of typos and errors
Yeah.
and stuff.
Yeah, I don't mind typos. I just love those errors that are just like, I go to the store. I transport myself to the store.
Yes.
those small ones, but yeah, those are my favorites. Because like you don't lose the context. You just know that it's just the wrong word.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I guess one of the shows I looked up because we were gonna test run it, so we're gonna like figure out our flow of like conversation to figure out how long it should be. So we're gonna watch a show called Drifters. Have you heard of it? I've only heard of it. I've never watched it, but it's apparently like these. It's an anime where like these historical figures get transported through time randomly, and they get into like this conflict. That's all I know. So it sounds cool,
There's a lot of time animes.
and it's only 12 episodes. So like, if it's really bad, we only go through 12 episodes, and then we'll figure out how to fix it. But yeah, hopefully, we get through it and it's like presentable. But yeah, that should be fun.
Yeah.
Drifters coming out soon. I'll put it up either way. You know, progression. We'll be like, okay, this is what we were before we got good.
You can see it, how it goes.
I don't know. I don't know. What do you think about that? Like, is like making something creative, like say like a book or something, should they just put up whatever, or should they like wait for the 10th version of or the 10th iteration and be like, this is perfect, but
I
it took them
mean,
like
it
extra
definitely
time.
depends on the mode of, I guess, the mode that you're doing it in.
That's true.
It's like videos, like whatever. You can cost nothing to make
That's true.
except for your time, and you have already made it, right? So you can release it. But like books, you can't publish a book
Yeah, that's true.
uh, just because you want to.
Because I know like the creator of Rooster Teeth was his logic is like you're gonna or he got it from some director, but that he looked up to. But his philosophy is like your first 10 attempts at something is gonna be bad anyway. Or like if you make a movie or something,
Yeah,
but so you might as well just put it out. So you get through the practice of like this sucks. How do I fix it?
yeah.
Things like that. So yeah, so that's the approach I'm taking. Is if we suck, let us know, flame us, be constructive about it though. I'm down for like this. I like to. It's just funny because it goes back to League, but like flame. When someone flames you, if it's constructive criticism and they have like their aggressive tone, I'm like, thanks, man. But if it's just like, go kill yourself, it's like, well, I can't really do that because I don't want to, and I don't know how it's gonna help me make this video better. But thanks, buddy. So yeah, if it sucks, if not, nobody knows. Maybe our friend Kyle will be like very insightful out of the blue.
We'll see.
We'll see.
We'll see how it goes.
But yeah, speaking of works in progress, on Saturday we had Nerf Wars 3 at my
Three.
Taekwondo school, the third one.
Okay.
So in it's been we're hitting I think year 3 of the new Taekwondo owner. Or no, year 2 at the end of we're in year 2. So last year we had last year we had Nerf Wars around like Christmas or like November time. So similar time, it was like, you know, just for the kids.
Yeah.
And we were like, oh, it's parents' night out kind of thing, where it's like, you know, give us a little bit of money, drop off the kid, and we'll feed them. They just run around shooting people. It's fun. So it was like pretty successful. We had like 15 kids show up. And then the next one, we did it over summer. And so Nerf Wars 2 was not as successful because it was like not that well timed because like half the kids were out on summer break. So we were like, oh, we need to fix that. So we did it this time, and it was like, we had 20 kids.
Oh,
It was a lot of kids.
that's fun.
So we had more kids, so it was like more successful. And like the proceeds of this goes towards because our mats are from the old school, and it was like those are like there at the beginning, so it's like 20 plus. They're almost 30 years old at this point.
Oh, that's gross.
So well, like we mop them like every other night. So
Yeah,
it's like
but-
we keep cleaning it, but yeah, it's like wear and tear.
Yeah.
So we're working on getting new mats,
Getting
doing
new
things like
equipment
these
to do
where
it.
like we're not just being like, hey, give us money. We're like, give us money, we'll provide you a service.
Yeah. It's
So
like,
at least like everyone gets something out of it. But yeah, we're like in the process of getting new mats.
that's good.
So yeah, but it's really funny because we had like we had a couple of sessions. So we were like free for all. So it's just like you get we'll give you 10 minutes. You run around, just shoot anyone. Because like we bought like these knockoff or like not knockoff but like
Okay.
Chinese not no brand darts that work on every gun.
Okay.
So we had like at least 400 bullets just throughout the studio, and we were just like, okay, we put like almost all we at the beginning we just left the box on the side. We're like, that's the ammo area. No one gets shot there.
Yes.
And then it's just like go wild, and then you just shoot. And the great thing about Nerf darts is that they're reusable.
Mhm.
So like as soon as you start shooting it, and you spread it throughout the room. Like you
You
don't
just pick them up.
even if the box runs out, yeah, you can just pick them up, reload, and you just go at it. And then we had like team battles, so like we set up like you've been there, so we set up like those bags.
Hmm.
We set up the bags, we move like the mats around, or like our judo mats,
Yeah.
and like our crash mat, we set it up so it's like a wall. And the funny thing is that like one side, so will split it up and we'll be like one side gets here, one side gets here, and everyone always like wants to go for the side with the crash mat as a wall.
Yeah.
They shoot over it. So what I would do, and then like we had it where it was adults versus kids. So it was only a couple adults, like
Yeah.
making sure kids don't get hurt. So I would just make sure my gun arcs over it, and I'd hit a couple kids. It was great. It's funny. There's one kid who brings it's like it's like a sniper rifle, but it shoots so fast and it hurts. And it's like it's not a Nerf gun, which is funny. It's like one of those knockoff, like it's called
Oh,
Action Force, but it shoots so well, and we're like, that's the greatest gun ever. It's a one shot though, so we'd have it like first minute, it's like you're only on your side, and then second minute you can cross.
oh,
So I just use the sniper, and I just have a gun ready, and the kids always rush me, so I'm just like wait for it and just bam as they cross the line. But yeah, Nerf Horse is fun.
it's really cool.
Yeah, and we had Costco pizza.
Oh, Costco
Yeah,
pizza's great.
we upgraded. Last time we had Little Caesars pizza.
Oh,
The kids don't. I don't think they noticed, but
yeah.
I noticed it. Yeah. Then I realized like Costco pizza is only good if you don't eat good pizza.
I mean,
Cause it's like it's not bad, but like if you get really good pizza, it's like
well, of course.
yeah, you're like Costco pizza's here, and then you get really good pizza, and then Costco pizza moves down.
I mean, it's like $20 for
Yeah.
like a huge pizza.
Yeah.
So.
It's like it's economic, it's pretty good, but yeah, just prefacing that before if this ever gets like a lot of views, people are like, "What are you talking about? Costco pizza sucks." I'll be like, I mean, pizza in Arizona is like okay,
There's some pretty good Costco place. Not. There's some pretty good pizza
yeah,
places around.
yeah. But I know that
But
like you go to New York, you'll always get good pizza kind of
of
thing.
course, yeah.
So like, I know that, but you know, there's a couple good places here, but most places we got are like Pizza Hut, Domino's, Papa John's. So
Yeah.
it holds up to those places. But yeah,
There's some specialty places, but
yeah. But those are more expensive and like not for, or like they're very expensive if you want to get a lot of it. So this was like economical, still not tasting like cardboard. So we got that going for us.
yeah.
So what's new with you?
Nothing much. Been playing more games. Uh, there was a new Monster Hunter raid that opened up yesterday, so I've been playing a lot of that. The problem is that the special thing about this raid is that I guess there's a few special things that like everyone in like the room like helps participate in the raid. So like I usually don't play with people I don't know, but this time like I kind of have to. I'm like kind of forced to. Like
Mhm.
this, some people are really bad. I'm like you have so many levels, but you're still garbage and you're so annoying.
Crappy mechanics.
Yeah. So there is a mod you can get to like have a damage meter sort of thing. It doesn't tell you like the damage numbers. It tells you like the percentage of damage you're doing. So it doesn't break the game. And like no matter what weapon I'm using, I can like be garbage at this weapon. I'll have 20% more damage than everyone else. I'm like, this is ridiculous. Like sometimes like you get good people and I'm like, I appreciate them for like carrying their weight. But I never get more than one good person on my team.
Oh.
I'm like and there's usually one person, so there's this weapon, it's a heavy bow gun. It's just a gun. It's like a huge gun. And you can shoot these bullets called cluster bombs. So you shoot a bunch of bullets up in the air, and they drop bombs. The problem is you can hit your teammates with it. You don't take damage, but you get knocked back.
Mm.
So you're in the middle of your combo, right? You're like slashing the monster, doing tons of damage,
You just get
and
knocked
then
back.
suddenly you're just like, and then you're like, you get knocked like 5 miles away by random bombs. I'm like, come on, man! You're like,
Stop making
and
it
it-
harder for
and
us.
then when you look at the damage chart, they're the person doing 2% of the damage. They're the people who does no damage. I'm like, there's a lot better way to use this weapon.
Could you use that to your advantage though, if like the monster is about to start its attack animation?
Yeah, like if you're gonna use that to save someone, that's fine. Like there's been times where like I hit someone and they got saved, but that move is never gonna save anyone. It takes so long for the bombs to come down. Like, what are you gonna do? Like, so you use cluster bombs as like a strat in like solo, or like if everyone has it, it's okay because you're not gonna knock. If everyone's range, it's okay because you're never gonna hit any of your teammates. But you're playing with random people. You don't know what they're gonna play, and there's 14 weapons, and 11 of them are melee weapons. So I think you're gonna expect a team full of
Yeah.
melee people. Um, and then you suddenly have these people who are just knocking everyone over. And it's just like you're literally lowering the DPS.
You're just making it harder to win.
Yeah, if you weren't here, we would do it faster. But I think it's another special thing is that it drops the weapons. It drops. So this is the only monster that actually drops weapons. You don't have to craft these weapons, and even though each time you have to do it, it takes like 40 minutes. So you do like two 20-minute sections basically. It takes like it can take like 30 to 40 minutes total. Um, and so I think there's a variation of. I'm pretty sure it's one of like a variation of every weapon in the game. So let's say there's like 20 different insect glaives in the game. There is a chance of dropping there's a variation of 20 insect glaives that can drop. So it's really hard to get the good weapons because there's 14 weapons, types of weapons, and each
And
there's like so many
different trees of
trees of like the weapon. So it's so hard to get the weapons you want. And so you have to play this so many times to like be a lucker and
are
get
they
the right
loaded?
items.
Can you just sell them?
I
The
mean,
weapon?
there's no online trading,
Oh,
so
okay.
you have to pull it all yourself.
Ah,
Yeah, because like earning money is not hard, but the drops are hard to get.
okay.
So I'll be doing this raid for a while until I get the weapons I want. But I think it's really cool. It's fun.
Nice. Yeah, something I've been doing is now that I have a job, I was like, what do I want? You know?
Yeah.
So I like go to Bookman's, which is like used everything, and they have like this huge toy section. I always walk by there. I'm like, I don't have money for that. Now that I have a job, I'm like, oh sweet.
I have
And
money for
yeah,
that now.
and like one of the things I always wanted was like Transformers, because like every once in a while I get one, but it was like as a kid, but it'd be like, it's your birthday, here's one, and I was like, oh sweet, and I only have one. So I saw like these ones from like when I was a long time ago. It was like a 2005 series one. And I was like, I love this one. And so I got them. So I'm slowly collecting like the ones that I wanted. But it's funny because you go back and look at them, like they were cool in the show, but some of them don't live up to what you'd
Yeah,
expect the physical one. Like, did you ever watch Transformers cartoons?
I did not.
Oh, well, the in the early 2000s they had like three series. So like it was so on the second series the concept was like they a lot of them like they could fuse basically,
Hmm.
and so there were two forms where it'd be like either you're the top or you're the legs.
Okay.
But like Optimus Prime, the leader, he never had that. He was just like he was just the dude,
Yeah,
and
so
then
it's just a truck.
yeah, he was just a truck, but he was like tiny. So they were like, "Oh, we gotta give him a super mode." So his super mode is the first version is he he has like little ones,
Okay.
and they're just his arms and legs. So he has like a helicopter. He has like a fire truck,
Oh.
and they'll just make him bigger. So I always wanted that one. I was like, "That's such a cool concept." And I watched people's reviews on it, and I look at the toy, and I'm like, "That's so disappointing." Because he's so tiny. Because like when he gets powered up, he gets like normal size.
Oh.
Yeah, and then there's like this version where one of the Transformers, a wing saber, like it splits in half and it becomes arms and legs. But that's about it. I was like, that's terrible. So
That's his
yeah,
brother.
and then in the third series, the gimmick was like they all got powered up. So they have like these. The gimmick is they have these key like this key you insert into it, and it
Yeah.
like unlocks like
Oh,
a
and that would
weapon or
like
power
become
up.
really big.
Not bigger, but it would just be like their weapon comes out or
Oh,
something. So
okay.
like in the physical one, but so like some of them were pretty disappointing. So like in so one of the original ones is like Hot Shot.
Okay.
He's a race car.
Yeah, yeah.
So and like a lot of them, like if you use the key, like a weapon will pop out or something cool will happen with like the toy. he just gets like these wings.
Oh,
So,
you stick the key and he gets wings.
but it's like like you know how like race cars like in the like when they animate it, they're just like it's like holographic. Like oh, you know, this makes them look faster.
Yeah.
Kind of like that. So it's like very disappointing. I was like, you know, you had a pretty cool design for a basic design, and then you're like, that's depressing.
He's not as good as you wanted him
Yeah.
to be.
And then my favorite though is in that series, like three of them take on the main bad guy
Yeah.
who got a power up, and he like literally almost destroys them, and then like they get saved by like the grace of like Transformer God,
Why?
and then the Transformer God in that show like gives them an upgrade.
So basically,
Or
plot
three of them
armor.
upgrades. Yeah, pretty much. So they're literally about to die, and then they get these like military style upgrades, and one of them was just like this Jeep with a turret on the back. It's now like this tank with like rocket arms.
I see.
It's hilarious. I love it. And so I got it, and like a lot of the early Transformers were like super intricate and like how it transformed. So it'd be like a lot of multi steps, and it's like the truck. You open up the legs, you move the arms out, and then you're done.
Okay.
So the position it would be like this. So you open up the feet, and it's already the body's already done.
Oh,
So it's like you move the arms out, you pull the head up, and you're like, wait, it's done.
I thought there was more.
But the cool thing is with that one, you put the keys in the arms, so it's like his hands, and then he has like these giant rocket launchers.
Oh.
And then when you open up the key, it pops up more weapons. So one of them is just this giant cannon and two missile launchers. So I was like, that's great. He's
It
just
gave him more stuff.
yeah. It's just funny because his arms are like tiny, so it's like here, if this was his arm, like the rocket launchers would be this big in scale, and then like the other missile launchers would be like that
Oh, did you
big.
put it on top?
Yeah, because it just flips out.
Good
But
stuff.
yeah, I've always wanted to click Transformers. That's what I've been getting into.
Yes, like talk about like things flipping out and whatever. I've been folding origami.
You getting back into
I've
it?
I've been kind of constantly been doing it whenever like I have free time or I was kind of bored, or like waiting for like Q or whatever in league, and I would always try to fold origami. And then there was a so I finished after I finished my cute little tiger. There was I asked my friend like what should I fold next, and then there's these two folds he recommended me. They're like kind of on the same level, like a little bit harder. There is this tiger, and then like a normal tiger, and then there's a chameleon. So I started with the chameleon first, because I wanted to. I don't know why. And I got stuck at a fourth step. Like, so one is like folded this way. Two folded
Do you mean a chameleon?
chameleon. Chameleon.
Chameleon?
I don't know.
Okay, just making sure you're not just like saying some random Chinese like
No,
mythological animal.
it's a lizard.
Okay,
Yeah.
just making sure.
Hangs on trees and camouflages or whatever. I don't know
Okay.
English. And then I got stuck on like the fourth step, and then because in this book, it's a really cool book. I like it a lot. From a few years ago, but it's a really big collection of like a bunch of. It's a really big collection of like diagrams and crease patterns, and by a lot of different authors, or by a lot of different folders. I don't know who from a lot of different countries. So there's like people from like Spain, people from Korea, people from China, Japan, like Americans, like literally people from everywhere who contributed to this book. And this one's the chameleon diagram is Korean, and then they have some of them that don't have like steps like words, so they're fine. But like this one had words, and I can't read Korean. Um, I'm
So
also not
it's
Korean.
it's not useful.
Yeah. So there was this diagram, and I did the step, but it didn't look like the picture from the next step. I was really confused. So I asked my friend, like, how do you do it? He's like, okay, fold a bird base, and then the things should flip out or whatever. I'm like, all right, fold bird base. Nothing happened. I'm like, this isn't working. So I like tried it a few more times. Like, okay, I give up. So he's like, all right. He's like, all right, just work on the tiger for now. Okay, worked on the tiger, and then also I was like being. So the tiger was really interesting because there's like a lot of creases. So it's just like a lot of creasing, and I messed up one crease, I think, and that like messed up the rest of it. And I also do these crimp folds, are these like really small folds, and you still make three of them, and then on your paper you'll have like a lot of little like horizontal lines as the creases. But I messed up the placement of them, and when I tried to fix it, the old ones messed up the new ones that I was trying to make. So now I didn't make a new. I have to try again, which I haven't started gotten to yet. And then I saw my friend the other day, and then I'm like, help me with my chameleon. He's like, all right. And then the step was exactly what I did the first time, except you flip out the back.
So you missed part of it.
So yeah, so I did the step correctly, almost. I just didn't flip out the back part, and it would have been great. And it was like, no, it wasn't. He also gave me like the wrong directions. Also, he said it was a bird base. Unless I'm dumb and that's a bird base, but I don't think so. You just flip out the back, and that's it. And I was like, oh my goodness, so I could have done this so much like a while ago. So I'll keep trying to do the chameleon. I'll make a new tiger later. That tiger makes me annoyed. I think origami is really fun.
Nice.
Like, there's like a lot of times where like you're just folding things, and then suddenly, like, and there's this next step, and you're like, all right, I'll just do whatever it says. And you gotta trust the creases basically that I told you to make before, and then you do it, and then it just magically comes together, and you don't even know like how that fold got there or like how that happened. You're just like, this is just magic. It's really cool to see.
Nice. So yeah, I guess one of the last things, because with the animation, I want to show you this. I'll put it in. Make sure another time.
Yeah.
I was like, I need a picture for it, so I made a 20-second like paint edit. I was like, that'll be our overlay for now. And basically, where the pictures are would be like when we put webcam, because like I couldn't find mine and Kyle didn't have one. So yeah, so I'll put that in over so you can see. But yeah,
Well,
so we were gonna do Boruto because, man, because we talked about this before, so I don't know if I blanking out. I don't remember if I said this while we were recording, but Kyle, the reason I want to do Boruto is because Kyle watched Naruto.
Yeah, I think you said this.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, so I watched the first episode because I already watched like clips and stuff from the show. Because I was like, oh man, it's gonna suck because it's gonna be like, you know, man, these kids suck. They're not like us. And then you're like, wait, you did nothing in the war. I just remember that because they were like, they're having a meeting. They're like, yeah, these ninjas, these kids, they're not cut out to be ninjas.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
it's
that's
because
it. Yeah.
because it's like peacetime.
Yeah.
So like there's no pressure to fight. They don't
Yeah.
really need to. Technically, like
They don't need to be ninjas.
yeah, ninjas aren't really like
Yeah, because
necessary.
yeah, because in Naruto it's like, oh yeah, we're constantly it's like an ebb and flow of like fighting between villages.
Hmm.
So you needed like ninjas to be a part of your military.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's one of the reasons like I was iffy on the show because I saw that clip when the movie came out and I was like, that's really annoying, because like it's just funny because you think about it like at the end of Naruto, like just Naruto and Sasuke pretty much objectively did most of the work. If you compare like, oh, you know, what did they need to do versus everyone else, is like
Yeah.
everyone else just needed not to die. They needed to kill literally a god. So you're like, she's complaining. She's like, yeah, these kids aren't cut out to be ninjas. You're like, bro, you lost to a tree.
But I mean, you have to
like
watch
you,
it.
yeah,
Like
like
I
you
think
get the sentiment, but it's just funny because
I think there's an episode where like there's like it's like the tuning exam or whatever. It's just
Yeah.
some exam, and Kakashi is like teaching them, and I really like what Kakashi says.
oh
and
yeah, that was the Genin
does.
exam.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and I just really liked how Kakashi like realizes, or how he lets Boruto realize like this age is different, but even though this age is different, like the quality of ninja or whatever still needs to be really good,
yeah,
and like you still have to work really hard. Like the messages that Boruto gives is definitely like to be like motivating,
yeah,
and like you're supposed to learn something from it.
yeah. That's the weird thing. 'Cause also Boruto is that like because it's peacetime, like it's weird because like with real history is that most of the time technological jumps come from conflict.
Hmm.
So like in a war, we'll get like better technology to fight someone else with inferior technology,
Yeah.
or like space race where we're not actually like physically fighting, but it's like a war of ideas. So we're
Hmm.
trying to be better than them. But in Boruto, it's like oh because we're at peacetime, we don't have to like spend all our time fighting. We can like develop technology.
I mean, there's like
So
two. There's like different types of
yeah,
technology, right?
yeah,
And like instead of like building like weapons of
yeah,
war, you can build things like for comfort.
yeah. Yeah, but like just in general, in human history is that like things that become comfort, like cars and stuff, innovations in that usually stem from war. It's
Yeah.
just like it's military first and then comes to the people. But like Boruto is different. It's like oh we literally saved the world from an evil god. Let's all be friends. And then like because of that, everyone's like oh they're all motivated to,
Yeah.
keep the peace. So they're all like trying to build technology and make the world better.
People have
But
time
yeah,
to like actually be innovative and
yeah.
whatnot.
So, but it's like it's weird because it's only been like a 12-year time jump.
Hmm.
Because like just it's just I think I've talked about this before, but like Naruto, just the timeline of Naruto is also weird because it's so condensed. If you think about it, because it's like
Yeah.
Naruto to the fifth Hokage, she's like 50 something, but like the first Hokage is her grandpa. So like between the first Hokage and like when he was a kid fighting those wars,
Mm.
the present is like less than 150 years,
Yeah.
which is really weird. But it's like, but yeah, so like time, it's just like the state of things, like just that because it's only 12 years. It's like no 16 years from when the end of the fourth Shinobi War happens in Naruto
Yes.
to Boruto because like they had they had light novels in the middle of between the two shows,
Okay.
which covers like the 4 years. But what happened? But it's just interesting because it's like, you know, the world just feels so different.
Yeah.
That was the
Definitely.
one thing, because I watched a bunch of clips from the movie and like the show, because I was interested in it. I was like, I'm gonna wait till Boruto stops being a brat, when he like
Hmm.
understands his place in the world a little better,
Hmm.
and so like once that started happening, I was watching clips on YouTube, and I'm like, this is actually good, and then I watch it, and it's like even in the theme song, like it's just it goes for a different tone, you know,
Definitely.
like the visuals of the theme song and just like how the tone of the song. So I'm actually interested again in like the show, just because like it's the same universe, but just like the rules and everything are all different now because it's like different time.
Yeah. Like
So
how people fight and
yeah,
like how what the story is and what it's based around is like completely different.
yeah,
Definitely.
yeah. Because at first when I saw clips, I was like, Konohamaru's cool. He's like the teacher of them,
Yeah.
and then they're like, why can't we watch that part when he gets cool? He just is. He's like new to age Kakashi without like the depression.
Yeah. I mean, like Konohamaru
Yeah,
is just he grew up,
yeah.
right?
But at first I was like, why can't we watch that part? That would have been cool. And then you're like, oh, we don't need to watch that part because
Yeah.
like the new kids are actually cool. Because I what I thought was gonna happen was like a bunch of them are just gonna be like super useless early on because it's just like power creep within shows like Naruto. By the end, it was Naruto, Sasuke, and that's about it. Everyone else is just like kind of there.
Hmm.
But like the cool thing about original Naruto is that like you had everyone was like pretty much useful
Yeah.
because like the scale of power wasn't that different.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping like Boruto can fix that because like in the first episode you already see like the end or like what the ending's supposed to lead up to.
Hmm.
But like I'm hoping like for most of the series, like everyone, all the new characters like actually useful and like can keep up with Boruto because
Pretty sure like Naruto, Boruto, Sarada,
yeah,
Mitsuki, is that
yeah,
his name?
yeah,
Will all be like pretty great. I
yeah.
don't know about the rest of his classmates.
So that's what I'm hoping for. So that just the classmates are like they keep up for a while.
Hmm.
So then you're like, oh, there's so many characters that I can like because that's what I liked about original Naruto is like you could get behind like, oh, Choji's not gonna be like, the fastest one, but he's still got some cool stuff and he's like actually still useful. Whereas the end was just like, oh yeah, he can get big. Let him push this thing.
Dude, he was
Yeah.
a useful fatty.
Yeah, but like he wasn't at like he was like effectively useless compared to like Naruto. and Sasuke.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping they keep the like secondary cast of characters like relevant for longer. But yeah, that I guess brings up like a bigger point, because Boruto is a sequel series.
Yeah.
So just what do you think about sequel series where like there's time jumps, like simple as like Dragon Ball, where like Dragon Ball ends and then in Dragon Ball Z everyone's an adult, or
Yeah.
like not technically not anime, but like Avatar: The Last Airbender into Korra, where there's like 100 years and you're like, oh man, they like they took all their advanced technology and they started building planes and now they have like
Hmm.
air forces and stuff.
I mean, it's like a good way to like transition to
Yeah,
another time. Like, I mean, if there's in your history in your story, there's nothing really going on in the middle. Like,
yeah,
what are you gonna write about it?
that's true.
And then like in history books, like you do have like time skips also technically. It's like there's nothing
Oh
that
yeah,
happened here.
just like the years pass, but it's like nothing big happened in between
Yeah,
big
like
events.
technically, like you can go to newspapers like, oh, someone died here, or, like
Yeah,
there was some murder,
but
uh, natural disaster happened, but like nothing really big, right? And then
mm,
so like in those worlds, like it's the same thing. I think like something that's another anime that's like pretty famous for like those types of like skips is probably JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. I just finished season four like a few hours ago, part four, I guess. And so part one happened like a while ago, uh, 19 or 18 something, and
mm-hmm.
like that's when like you start like it's like that's when like the whole story's introduced and like what's going on, like how the bad guy becomes the bad guy or
Mm-hmm.
whatever, and then like in part one defeat the bad guy or whatever, and then part two is like the main character's like grandson or whatever. Part three is like that character's grandson, and so like with each part is like a different family.
It's a different generation.
Yeah, it's like definitely a different generation. And JoJo does it really well in that they like the background, the scenery reflects like the colors. The author doesn't really have a set color for anything, um, but the color palette, I don't know, really reflects like kind of like the time, and it really sets the mood along with like the theme songs, the music. It kind of goes along with the time, with the music of that time, and how it and the technology and everything, like how it's used, and you definitely really see like how the if it's used well, I think it's really good.
Okay.
So I think that's like one reason why a lot of people like JoJo's Bizarre Adventure is like all of those elements are used really well.
Okay. Yeah, because that's just something I was thinking about. Because it's weird. Because because like even in Avatar, like you skip like a whole generation of people in a sense. Because it's like you have the original people, and then they have kids, and then like the kids are adults now,
Yeah.
and then it goes down to Korra. But yeah, that's what I was just thinking. Because I think one of the things that I feel like I went through this with like Korra and Boruto is that like at first I was like, why would you do a time jump? The people are still there, because but especially with like Avatar, because it went because a couple of years ago they started releasing like these graphic novels that are a continuation of like the original Avatar story,
Okay.
and like there was extra stuff. So I was like, at first you're like, why didn't you just do the extra stuff? But then like you watch the sequel series and you're like, oh, you can see what they're going for is that like they still want to explore the universe that they made, but they want to explore like I guess different aspects, and it's like the easiest way to get a whole generation or like a whole group of people is just to make them a different generation.
Yeah.
So yeah, so that's just something interesting I thought of.
You can definitely and you can explore different parts and different
Yeah.
people and how with the new generation, you, there's a lot of authors who like to explore like how does the old this old generation affects the new one
Yeah,
in different ways.
yeah. I think Naruto does that pretty well because it's like
I mean that's the
yeah,
that's the whole theme of
yeah,
Boruto.
because it was like no, yeah, and then in Naruto it was like you're built on the backs of giants, basically, like all these really cool people
Mm-hmm.
before you. So it's I guess like that's what Boruto is trying to do is that like especially Boruto is like I don't want to be like he starts off he's like I don't want to be like my dad kind of like breaking away from that, and trying to like pave his own path.
Yeah.
But,
A lot of Boruto is just like the moral of the story is how to find your own self,
yeah,
right? And like you don't have to be like your
yeah,
parents, but don't completely break off
yeah,
from them. Like they worked a lot. They
yeah,
really love you. They're really there for you,
yeah.
and they try to portray that.
Yeah, that's what I think I was missing when I was like originally, like seeing Boruto. What it was, I was like, oh, it's just this kid who's like, he's like 12. He's like going through that edgy phase. He's like, I don't need my parents, but it's like,
Yeah,
but yeah, that makes sense. Is that like the show's like, because in Naruto, a lot of them, they did follow the path of, like the people before them. Like his dad was like, you're gonna save the world. He's like, sure, dad. I've never met you before, but sure, man. Whereas like Boruto's like like they all know the expectations set for them, but they like kind of want to deviate and they want to be like, I'm gonna be my own person.
yeah,
So I guess it was like exploring that personhood in the universe of Naruto.
I think Naruto is definitely like more plot driven.
Yeah,
I guess in that way, and Boruto is more moral driven,
yeah,
where he's trying to teach the audience something. You can explore like a lot of different kinds of anime, right? Where like the the author's point is like what they're trying to achieve is different.
yeah.
Well, we have it's 49 and this has been 49 minutes and 30 seconds. So we'll cut it off here.
Yeah, that's the end of episode 16. We got interesting stuff we talked about.
Yeah, we'll try to do more with the live so we can talk about more things.
Yeah, keep working on it every week. Thanks for watching.
See you.